and his wife, Nama, and they were good. Nama carried the seeds of the world inside of her apron. And they had 3 sons, and those 3 sons had 3 wives. Noah walked with God. God was close to Noah, and Noah was close to God. And Noah knew what God wanted him to do. He wanted him to make a big boat called an ark. So Noah and all his family made the boat. And as they were making the boat, animals from the 4 corners of the earth came. They came 2 by 2. And they went into the ark. And when all the creatures were on the ark, it began to rain. And it rained and it rained. At first, it was just a normal rain. But the rain came down from the sky, the water came up from the earth, and the puddles were fused together, and soon the water covered the whole world. When the animals and the creatures looked outside of the ark, all they saw was water. And it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. God did not forget about the creatures inside the boat. And at the end of 40 days and 40 nights, the rain stopped. And a great wind came across the land, and it started to dry. Noah took a dove and he let it go. And the dove came back without anything. After 7 days, he let the dove go again. And this time it came back with an olive branch inside its mouth. So then Noah knew that God had started the green and growing things to come back. After 7 days, Noah let the dove go again. And this time it did not come back. And Noah knew that it had found land and a home and made a nest. Then they reached dry land. And the animals and Noah and his wife were so happy. They were so happy to be back on dry land. That they made an altar for God. And the animals went across the lands of the earth and multiplied and brought life. Now, I wonder what is the most important part of this story. And those are the beginning of my wondering questions. So I open it up to the children, and they usually just call out things. And it's really interesting what they come up with. So I asked them what is the most important. And then I asked them, I wonder what part do you like the best? Oh, and I forgot a part. The rainbow came. Sorry, I forgot that part. Because that's usually what they like the best is the rainbow. So we asked them what's important, what they like the best, and then I asked them, where do they see themselves in the story? And we get different answers from these. And then the last one is a really interesting wondering question. It is, what part of this story could we take out and still have all the pieces we need? And that usually provokes something very interesting and different. So that's how we would conclude the story. And again, ideally, I would ask each of the children what kind of work they would like to do for that day. Some would like to do arts and crafts. Some would like to play in the desert box, which I'll tell you a little bit about because it's really interesting. So there's different activities that we have. Right now I have a lot of boys. So I try to incorporate some kind of physical activity in the games that we play. For instance, at the end of this story, we made a fort. So the kids loved that, and we had this whole room to do it, and it was boys, So, and we also played like, we're on the boat, not to get off, don't drop off the boat kind of thing. So that was fun for the boys, so that kind of thing. One thing that the Godly Play materials has is what's called a desert box. And a desert box is just a box with some sand in it. But it is a canvas to tell some important stories. So many important things happen to the people of God in the desert that we have to have a part of it in our classroom. And I find it for the kids one of the most tactile things that they really enjoy working with. So if this was sand, usually at the beginning of those stories would start something like, and you move the sand around, the desert is a dangerous place. You can get lost in the desert. There's no food, there's no water. When the wind comes, it shifts the sand. People have to wear protective clothing. And I find the children around here really respond to that. I think they've been in cold winters, you have to bundled up, things can change, and so they love that. And for me as a storyteller, I love working with the desert box. So those are just some of the elements of Godly Play. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. For all